But unfortunately, we didn't get to cover the first game, and Bistork is up 1-0.
Yeah, so coming in from behind, but I don't think that's going to put HonMonO off too much. Definitely a player that has his own plans for the games, and that can really help you mentally to kind of, I don't know. I feel like you're not too worried when you got some cool stuff that you're excited to try out.
Yeah. And speaking of cool stuff being tried out, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tropical Sacrifice ESL, we have the Hong Kong Protoss player, the Kong from Hong Kong. He is pink, representing the Juggernauts. It is Bistork.
And spawning in the top right, the trier-outer of cool stuff. It is representing Prep Esports, HonMonO.
Good, we're so good.
I know all the words. I can even say them in a row sometimes.
Sometimes, puppy, sometimes. Oh god. But could you refresh my memory, because I always confuse these two, and hopefully one day I'll get them right. I know Quanta, he goes for the quad Thor drops. Is
yes.
HonMonO the player who went mass BC against Protoss against Chance?
I have no idea, but that gets me very excited. I'm gonna say yes, because I want to say that.
Did we cast that
I have
together?
no idea. Probably.
Probably. Yeah, sure, yeah, we cast it all the time.
I erased it from my memory. I'm like, this is illegal. It's illegal, puppy. I guess he didn't win then, or I would have remembered.
No, he did win.
Oh.
But I could be confusing HonMonO with Quanta. Aye. But yeah, we'll see what he has in store for us here. Again, HonMonO, one of my favorite Korean Terrans, or Japanese Terrans, depending on how you look at it. We'll see what he has in store for us here, as he's actually going for a reactor here on his racks.
Yeah, looking pretty standard so far. Just the Marine Reactor expand. He scouts, sees everything. Looks pretty normal coming out from Bistork, and just checking as well for the proxies, doing his due diligence. But so far, looking normal.
Yeah. Pretty stock standard so far for HonMonO, just making sure nothing crazy is going on. As we get into Tropical Sacrifice, this map becoming kind of one of the more popular maps in the map pool. There's nothing really too crazy about it. I mean, sure, there are a bunch of like choke points here in the middle of the map, which I think is pretty interesting. But I'll be honest, I haven't seen too many kind of late game split map scenarios yet on Tropical Sacrifice.
Yeah, I think the main features that I've noticed to look out for on this map is just kind of this big flat area with the ramp down the bottom. This tends to be where a lot of the fights take place. Kind of reminds me a bit of Romanticide. Not too hard to take your first 4 bases, but the game gets a bit awkward when you start to look for your 5th base.
Yeah, it really can. It really can. We'll see if we go that far, as HonMonO, it's been a while since I've seen this, but yeah, from his factory, going for a bit of a 3 racks here.
Yeah, so already something a little bit different. Ordinarily, when you go for these 3 racks builds, you would look to get maybe 1 Cyclone just to be safe from things like Oracles, and then go into kind of a standard 3 racks, but he's actually getting some Hellions here, so definitely something a bit offbeat already.
Yeah, this is interesting. Bistork did scout a lot of this with his Adept. His Adept was actually within range of seeing the 2nd racks on the left-hand side. Didn't see the 3rd racks, so working with a little bit of incomplete information, but he's already getting ready at home. We have a shield battery being thrown down, and anything that he didn't see, he should with his Oracle Opener.
Yeah, so sees the Hellions with the Oracle, and he will just keep that Oracle to hang back for just a moment, and it looks like he's going to be okay so far.
Yeah, he's able to fall off here with his units. The Hellions don't break on in, not yet. And now the Oracle is free to go across the map. The Hellions were able to spot them, and the Marines are getting in position with 4 Marines. Hopefully that is going to be enough here to deter this Oracle. And yeah, it's more than enough.
Yeah, meanwhile, he is starting to make some more Oracles, and this is one of the things that can be very awkward when you're playing a build like this against Oracles. Is when you have a small Marine count against multiple Oracles, they can start to pick off the Marines. And it's something we see Hero do a lot, where the timing for the Terran just gets completely ruined by the Oracles taking the fight to the Marines as it's going now. Oh, and he loses it!
Yeah, the Oracle goes down. A little bit of a slip up there by Bistork. Meanwhile, the Hellion Rabbi slips past the army, and he is actually going to be able to get into the main, or even the natural.
Oh, yeah, definitely a shame here. A lot of things going wrong all at once, but he does need to sync up his shots if he wants to DPS through the battery.
Yeah, exactly. Regardless, 6 workers go down at the same time. The second Oracle will get across the map into the natural base, but the Marines are already in position. They're already in location, and this one won't get too much damage done.
Yeah, only 1 SCV kill for that Oracle, so not quite evening out the damage, and this is looking like a pretty good start for the Terran here.
Yeah, definitely, you know, being able to defend. He didn't utilize any kind of resources. Oh my god, he's pulling the boys! Let's go!
Yeah, pulling the boys, and meanwhile, a pretty chunky supply block for Bistork here, so this is definitely going to make this even harder to hold.
Exactly. What's important, though, is that Bistork, he was able to scout this. He was able to throw down the Revelation, already trying to chip away at this army, slow it down. A couple of workers falling left and right. Ooh, oh, Oracle almost gets picked up.
Yeah, picking off these workers on the way in definitely takes a lot of oomph out of this push, and beautiful micro coming out here from Bistork to kite all the way across the map.
Yeah, exactly. I also want to give a bit of a shout out to HonMonO for the patience that he's had. He has Stim, by the way, but he has held off on using that for a very long time. He knows how valuable they are. He knows he doesn't have any medevacs. He has to be very careful with every single Stim.
Yeah, we do see the last surviving SCV bloodied and in the red, just doing what he can. Oh, and more SCVs are coming. Let's go.
Let's go. The boys are here. The tanks are in between the bases. Ooh, 1 tank almost gets picked off here by this Oracle. Again, no Stim used here, but we do see that HonMonO is slowly pushing up, and I imagine looking to get into that natural.
Yeah, doing a very good job just preserving as much health as you can on these Marines, which will be very important later. And yeah, this is a very interesting way to play out some of the features of this map. We see this a lot on maps like Blackburn, where you can just sit in between the bases and be a nuisance. And
oh, but you know what? Bistork, he rotates around. He will pick off one of those tanks. Does lose a decent chunk of his Stalkers. Meanwhile, the Rover gets depowered, and it's going to go down.
Yeah, Bistork doing a beautiful job trying to clean up the rally with the extra Stalkers by going around the back, but meanwhile, the killer instinct from HonMonO here to go straight into the natural and set up his position here.
Yeah, so
really good move there.
Some of the production is compromised. As you were saying, the rally is getting picked off one after another, so HonMonO has to be a little bit careful about that. The natural base is going to go down. Meanwhile, what's happening here in the main? We have a couple more gateways on the way. We have some Stalkers, no sentries or anything like that. It looks like HonMonO isn't too concerned with the main. He goes for the third.
Yeah, just trying to get as much damage as you can. So the real get out of jail card here for Bistork is that charge finishing up. If he can warp in a couple rounds of Zealots, that can be very useful for cleaning up these tank pushes, but he's taken so much damage already.
Yeah, the third base is going to go down. Meanwhile, across the map, it looks like HonMonO has regained control of his natural base, at least a little bit. There's only a handful of Marines left, but with a couple of tanks, he is going to be able to hold on. He's still decently, you know, healthy here when it comes to his worker count, when it comes to his saturation. Can HonMonO push up this ramp, though? Bistork is supply block.
I think he'd be quite content to just set the tanks up, but yeah, this is a terrible time to be supply blocked, and the pylons are in range of the tanks.
Exactly. You were talking about charge. That was his get out of jail free card. He can't warp anything in.
And look at the supply.
The supply doesn't lie. Bistork needs more pylons. He's throwing down 3 right now, but it may be a little bit too late. By the time those pylons finish up, it's possible that the production just may not be there anymore.
Yeah, and I love this bunker that he's setting up behind the tanks here, just anticipating a surround from the Stalkers coming back home. But meanwhile, on the other side of the map, he's cleaned up the Stalkers, and GG's called.
GG, well played. HonMonO fights back, ties up the series 1-1 with a very interesting push there. Yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah, that was great, and really good instinct from HonMonO there. I think he realized that from the probe damage that he got from picking off that Oracle, that he did have enough of an advantage to be able to put himself all in and get the kill.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a really like methodical approach as well, right? He wasn't rushing anything, you know. He was he stimmed like once actually. Yeah. He was very conservative with that. It may not have even been worth getting stimmed, to be honest, but yeah, it was really cool the way that it was like a clinical execution of how he approached that scenario.
yeah, as someone who stims my entire army to clear some creep, that's the kind of patience that I've never seen before.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was great to see, and you always love to see a match go all the way to the ace match, and that is what we are getting here. And now, what the hell were the vetoes? Because we are going into Waterfall.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm still not really sure which side that this map favors heavily, so it is definitely a very, very short map, almost as short a rush distance as Beckett, dare I say it. But at the same time, you do have the ramp at the natural, you have a lot of high ground protecting your third, so it is definitely a defensible basis for if you want to play more of a robo style as a Protoss. But yeah, maybe he's got something aggressive in mind.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. We'll see which of our players is planning to be the aggressor here. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Waterfall ESL, we have the Kong from Hong Kong himself. He is the pink Protoss player representing the Juggernauts. It is Bistork.
And spawning up in the top right-hand corner as the Red Terran, it is Prep Esports HonMonO.
Boy, and again, I'm just a little bit surprised that this map made it through the vetoes, but maybe I shouldn't be. Oh my god.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. It makes sense now. It makes sense now.
It makes sense for the Protoss, but what about the Terran? I mean, I guess, again, HonMonO, he has no fear. Maybe he should, mate, as we have that proxy pylon being thrown down.
Yeah, this probe just going on a lovely scenic holiday. It's hiding amongst the trees. Got a nice little creek by the side. Definitely here for some nice peaceful relaxation as we see the birds flying by.
True. This is actually really beautiful, by the way. Like, I don't know if you... I don't know what quality you have on your PC right now, but Waterfall is beautiful aesthetically, disgusting as a map.
Right. It was beautiful to me already when I saw how short the rush distance was. I was like, this map is beautiful.
It's always...
It speaks to me.
Ay. Oh, God. But yeah, we'll see what how this kind of plays out here. So far, it is just a proxy gateway. We do have both of our gases being taken back at home. So Asher, this is actually kind of reminding me a little bit of the Asher Protoss streams, actually.
I would never do something. I'm an honorable macro player.
What do you mean? This is all you do in PvT.
Yeah, but meanwhile, it has been scouted, so HonMonO hopefully should have enough time to get that bunker down, and we see that going down straight away, and he will have a pretty good idea of what's going on here just based on the timing, that there isn't a gateway unit out already, so it's not something like a max packs, something a little bit less committed, I would say, but at the same time, there is a lot of potential here for even maybe some batteries on the low ground.
Oh, yeah, exactly. We'll see how that kind of plays out here, as already the Stalker is going to be dishing out some damage, but the bunker was thrown down in time. All the units do get saved. This is a little bit annoying, and this does force the Terran player to be on one base a little bit longer, but thankfully, because it got scattered, HonMonO, you know, he wasn't throwing down a CC on the low ground or anything like that.
Yeah, it does sort of look like HonMonO already had plans of doing a one-base opener, so he does get the 1-on-1 before even getting his second command center.
Yeah.
Oh, we are seeing... This is a beautiful little micro dance that we've got between these players. If you time it just right with the Adept, you can dodge the mine shot, but I think HonMonO anticipating that unburrows the mine as well.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. It was actually really cool. Oh my god. So both players testing each other's skill right now. As you were saying, because we're on Waterfall, I did anticipate both players to be like hyper aggressive. The Reaper already going across the map, HonMonO getting a full scout of the main base, confirming that it is going to be a Stargate follow-up here from our Protoss. And HonMonO going to be planning to go for a little bit of a drop.
Yeah, so it gets a good idea of what's going on. Does see that he is in a little bit of an awkward spot economically already. It can be very frustrating to have your main delayed, but having already built it on the high ground, it looks like he should be okay as well to clear this out.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, the Adept gets cleaned up as well. We did see the forced recall from those Stalkers across the map. And it looks like HonMonO is just going to be able to shut this down. Everything has been revealed, though, so Bistork going for the Phoenix, maybe looking to stay at home, yeah, and try and defend against the oncoming aggression.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are seeing already the extra 2 Rex being thrown down by HonMonO. I think he will be looking to hit a bit of a timing with his stim on this one, and could be quite difficult to hold on this map. As you mentioned, it's a very short map, so timings like this can get across a lot more quickly than you expect sometimes.
They really can. That's why it's that much more important for Bistork to try and figure out what is going on. He goes across the map with his Phoenix. Again, because he went for a Phoenix first. Oh my god, as the winner by shot does connect with it. Is thankfully able to scout the production.
Yeah, that Phoenix fully in the red, and it does also damage the rack, so he knows it's real Phoenix. He should have a very good idea of what's going on here. Yeah, the opening going, I would say, really well for HonMonO, and this timing that he's got coming up is going to be really scary.
Oh, yeah, it really will be, and we'll see if Bistork can have a better defense against it. I do think that this time he is going for a faster robo here, so maybe looking to go into something like Immortals a little bit more quickly. I'd be surprised if he goes for, I don't know, like a greedy robotic spay or something like that. Regardless, like he should have maybe a little bit of a better army to defend against it.
Yeah, for sure. And I was saying before, with the high ground around this third, it can be a very good map for playing maybe something like a Phoenix Colossus style, which could be what we see him going into. Yeah, just with the extra defensive properties of having to attack up the ramp as the Terran, but it looks like we are not going to get that far.
No, this is not what we wanted to see. He's going for the robotic spay. He's being far too greedy right now. I was hoping he was going to pop out Immortals. There we go. The first Immortal is now on the way. He realizes what's going on. He sees what is coming his way. He's going to try and pick up a tank. It looks like, oh, he gets up with a man, maybe even a tank as well. Oh, the Marines do protect them.
Yeah, good pick off there. He would love to get this meta back as well. That really takes a lot of the staying power out of this push, but yeah, with his battery, only 1 battery and only halfway done, I don't think he holds this.
I don't think so either. The shield battery goes down immediately. The Immortal is on the way, but again, there's only 1 pylon keeping it powered. The Stalkers are falling left and right. In a couple of seconds, the Immortal is going to come out, but even if it does, is it going to be enough?
And the boys are fighting the boys, but it is not a fair fight with the tank backup, and yeah, this is just a terrible position for Bistork here.
Exactly. No mining whatsoever at the natural base. The robo is going to go down, so even with the robotics bay finishing, there is not going to be a Colossus. A third tank shows up as well. Phoenixes are great and all, but there's nothing on the ground to really support them.
Yeah, and this is such a different situation from the last game as well, where there's no third base for Bistork, and economically, HonMonO is even ahead, and yeah, that'll be it. GG.
Wow, GG, well played. HonMonO does it. He fights back. We didn't see what happened in game number 1, but in game 2 and game 3, he turned up all of the aggression up to 11. And Bistork, again, I was so shocked with how greedy tech-wise he was being. He was only working off of 2 gateways into the Stargate, into the Robo, into the Bay. Oh. Yeah,
I have to agree with you there, especially on such a small map. Phoenix tend to be a little bit better when you have a bigger map to work with, when having the notice of the army coming across the map gives you more time to do things like get up those batteries. But we could really see with the rush distance on that map, even though he saw the push moving out, that battery was maybe halfway done when the push arrived.
Yeah, it was a very late reaction to what was coming. Clearly, even though Bistork did get into the main base and did confirm, you know, the delayed or non-existent third and all the production, didn't really know what HonMonO was doing. He wasn't able to really piece it together until it was a little bit too late. Oh.
Yeah, and HonMonO just looking absolutely dominant with these early SEV pool pushes, and it is something that we used to see a bit more on the smaller maps, and maybe this is the way that we're going to see a lot more Terrans playing against Protoss on these newer, smaller maps.
I'm not complaining. It's a lot of fun to watch from the sidelines, so I don't have to deal with it.
You don't want to watch a 30-minute game against SkyToss where we're dodging balls for...
I don't want to watch Vindictor go through that again, Puppy. Not again, Puppy. Not again. Oh my god. But yeah, it's all coming back to me. There's I don't know if you've heard Yaku recently, but he's been, whenever we cast a TVP, he always, like, at some point slips in, you know what, he should just pull the boys. And that's because there was one tournament that we casted with HonMonO, and he just pulled boys every single game, and it really got into Yaku.
I mean, it looked pretty good there. I'm kind of just like imagining Yaku with like one of those flow charts where it's like, does the Protoss have a third base? Yes or no? Does the Protoss have Colossus? Yes or no? And like all of them go down to the bottom where it's like, pull the boys.
The answer to TVP, just pull the boys, mate. That's all you need.
Do you have any boys? No. Pull the boys.
Oh god. GG, well played. Congratulations to HonMonO. He moves on into the next round where he has another opponent ready and waiting. My condolences to Bistork. He, of course, is a great player, and he's a fan favorite here on the channel. And again, I'm sure he is going to find some success there in the lower bracket. He still has a chance to fight his way through. Ooh. But now the focus does kind of fall on HonMonO and his next Protoss opponent.
Yeah, very exciting matchup here. HonMonO against arguably the favorite to take out this whole bracket and get the TSL spot. Nice is waiting for him.